All right. Getting settled in here. I should probably make more of an effort to make less noise, or at the very least figure out how to reduce background noise. Well, I'm a very fidgety person by nature. Okay. Well, just gonna get this. I need to check one thing real quick. All right. Sounds good. We are online. Gonna mess around with some settings here real quick. That's all good. Network settings. Let's keep it local. All right. So here we are. Dark Souls Remastered. This, for me, was the beginning of the true beginning of my journey into Dark Souls. It all started here in this particular game. A long time ago, several years at this point, I have kind of lost track for at least 4 or 5 maybe. I gave this game a shot. Was very skeptical of Souls games at the time. Wasn't quite sure it was for me. I didn't like the idea of a game that was designed to be hard. And I think that was like my biggest holdover when it came to the Souls games. And because of that, I was quite hesitant because of that. But I kept at it. I don't know what it was. Something about it intrigued me. So I stuck through. Kind of got stuck for a while. But eventually I started to make progress. Got some really great pieces of advice regarding like Souls-likes in general. That going through it helped me understand that it's hard, yes, but it's not meant to be like frustratingly hard. Like, sure, there's gonna be frustrations, there's gonna be challenge, and you are likely gonna be. It is gonna test your patience to a degree, but it's not doing it just to be mean. I know some people might feel that way, but in my experience, the challenge of Dark Souls has always been challenging, but ultimately fair when it comes down to it. Like, there is ultimately always a path to victory, even for someone who is like not so great at the game like me. And eventually I did end up beating that game. This is the first Souls games I ever beat. And from there, my journey with Souls-like, the Souls games, both made by From Software and otherwise, started all here. So I figure makes sense to go to this one next after completing Demon's Souls. Did that in roughly 4 streams, which is I had a blast doing. And I hope anybody else who ends up watching those videos has a blast along with me. I'm probably gonna make it more of a video that kind of like summarizes the experience, and it kind of just breaks the whole thing down. And I also have another video in the works that will be related to Demon's Souls. It won't be a major thing, but it'll be just something a little fun I can do on the side. That won't be live stream related. It will be a more edited video. But while I'm working on that, I figure I might as well get started on the next leg of this journey. That being here, Dark Souls Remastered. I can't create it. All right. All right, who's got to go? Who's got to go? Let's see where this one here. All right. So, last time, in the last game with Demon's Souls, I opted to go for essentially a very easy OP build. which is literally just the starting class, starting weapon. You just upgrade that a bunch and pour some stats into like dexterity and some health and some endurance, and then boom, you blaze through the game real easy. And it's fun, and that's fun if a bit, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? A bit rushed as far as the experience is concerned. But that sort of strat won't work here, obviously, because things work a lot differently. Progression's a lot different. Stats don't quite translate one-to-one. And also, I don't want to just choose the easy path forward. I do know of a pretty solid path to go for, but for now, for this game in particular at least, I'm going to go for something a little different than what I did before. So what I'm going to do is, I know exactly the build I'm going for, and that's why I'm going to be picking this name in particular. This guy's going to be called Riften. The guy, I'm going to stick with the warrior class, I think, because it's got the best all around. It's got really good all around stats. Plus the armor's decent. It comes with like one of the best shields in the game. All that and everything. None of the classes that available right now start with the particular weapon I'm gonna shoot for. It's a weapon I have to find later in the game. So I'm gonna just stick with the warrior. Now for the gift, there's two options you can go for those just started. If anyone's unfamiliar with this game, any one of these gifts would be kind of good, except say for like these two. Mostly because the binoculars are just a thing for looking around, and you get that literally at the start of the game, so there's no real point in getting it as a gift. And the pendant is literally useless. I'm gonna tell you right now. A lot of people like to think it's some sort of big mystery or some sort of thing where it's like, oh, the game says it's useless, but maybe it actually has some sort of special effect. It doesn't. The pendant is literally useless. So just save yourself the trouble. Other options obviously are like the Goddess's Blessing and the Twin Humanities, which are good for heals. The only reason I'd be hesitant to use I wouldn't really recommend these is that they're consumables. So, and if you're kind of new to this and you're not entirely sure, like understand how to properly manage like resources and such, just using these might end up feeling like a bit of a waste. Like there's always that risk of waste and all that, and you get plenty of humanities in the game, so it's not like, you know, by not choosing 10 humanities, you're going to be like in a rough spot without them. So I wouldn't really concern myself too much about using humanities, especially if you want to use humanities as like a backup heal for this. The healing system in this is very different from Demon Souls. It's not like in Demon Souls where you can just pick up a bunch of grass randomly and just use that to heal. It's going to be very different, and you'll see here, but now, the general direction people tend to go is either the black fire bombs, which is like a explosive, early game explosive you can use. You get like 10 of those. Or the master key, which opens up, it says a basic lock, which does not mean all the locks in the game. It's not like no door will stop you. There are certain doors that this thing can open. But those doors are very important, or very major, because they can affect your progression. You can essentially skip through whole sections of the game that you were initially intended to go through to get to certain other parts. I am not going to choose the master key. I'm going to follow essentially the normal progression that's established within the game, what you might call the intended path. I'm not going to follow it one-to-one, but I will be following what is a sort of a section of a version of the game, a playthrough of the game that will be very similar to what I'm rambling nonsense here. I'm just going to go through standard progression as far as that's why I'm not going for the master key, and I'm also not picking the thief, which starts with a master key automatically, which will allow you to grab other things, like say the black firebomb. Which the black firebomb is a great early game because you can use it to essentially delete the very first boss of the game. I'm not going to do that either, but it's because I kind of just want to present the tutorial as it is. I kind of just like how the game progresses in I like this game's progression. I like how it paces itself. So I'm not gonna interfere with that. The tiny beans tiny beans ring can be pretty good if I want a small increase in HP, but there's gonna be a very big emphasis on small increase, which honestly is not gonna really be worth it in the long run. So I'm gonna go with the old witch's ring. It will seem useless at first, but will make sense way down the road. I'm not gonna get into it now, but that's what I'm going with. Now, my physique, I'm gonna go with average. He's not gonna be a particularly special individual. The character creation in this is somewhat limited, but I know the route I'm going, and I know the path I'm taking. I'm gonna go with a store noble. It's a very simple, kind of very plain-looking fellow, bit pale, but you know, it's probably just due to being a noble. Doesn't really get out much. This guy is not gonna have any hair. Don't ask me why. Just how it is. Because he's got no hair, who cares about the color? And this is our guy. His name is Riften, and he has a very fascinating backstory. Well, fascinating in that it's completely imaginary. There's no real actual backstory, but I like to imagine one when I'm playing. But this is the guy we're gonna follow. And now, I'm gonna quiet down for a bit here so we can appreciate what is I would describe as the best opening cinematic in all of Souls. So, without further ado, as I always like to say, onward to glory.
In the age of ancients, the world was unformed, shrouded by fog. A land of grey crags, arch trees, and everlasting dragons. But then there was fire, and with fire came disparity. Heat and cold, life and death, and of course, light and dark. Then from the dark they came and found the souls of lords within the flame. Nito, the first of the dead. The Witch of Izalith and her daughters of Chaos. Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight, and his faithful knights. And the furtive pygmy, so easily forgotten. With the strength of lords, they challenged the dragons. Gwyn's mighty bolts peeled apart their stone skills. The witches weaved great firestorms. Nito unleashed a miasma of death and disease. Seath, the scales, betrayed his own, and the dragons were no more. Thus began the Age of Fire. But soon the flames will fade, and only dark will remain. Even now, there are only embers, and man man sees not light, but only endless nights. And amongst the living are seen carriers of the accursed dark side.
That is really cool. That's a really cool cinematic. It's also one of the simplest. It presents everything very clear and very just upfront. And all that had meaning. All that had some importance, lore-wise.
Yes, indeed.
Indeed, indeed.
The dark sign brands the undead. And in this land, the undead are corralled and led to the north. Where they are locked away to await the end of the world.
You know, whenever that will come.
This is your fate.
I don't know about that, disembodied voice. I happen to be the main character of this game. Waiting around for the world to end ain't exactly my shtick. And oh my goodness, I definitely need to see some sun. The cell is occupied, sir. Oh. Hey, what's up? Okay. Bit random, but... okay. Northern Undead Asylum. Well, here we are. In a cell in an undead asylum. Fantastic start, if you ask me. Alright, let's pick this guy up. Dungeon cell key. Okay. Out of curiosity, did you have to throw a dead body in for this? Like, couldn't you just drop the key down? Ah, well. Who cares? Freedom! Freedom is ours. So this here is gonna be an interesting little section. It's gonna be very similar to the opening of Demon Souls. This is gonna be essentially a big old tutorial section. Only the difference between this and Demon Souls is that you can skip the tutorial in Demon Souls. But in this, you kinda have to just play through it. Yeah, rough times, eh? Oh, don't mind me. That is a big boy. Big boy indeed. Kind of just wandering down a room. I wonder how he got stuck in there. Or was he stuck, or was he put there on purpose? I suppose it doesn't really matter in the long run. The animation style, the difference in animation style can be interesting. I mean, this is obviously definitely going to be seen. It's definitely going to look like an upgrade compared to the original Demon Souls. But since I played the remake, it's going to seem kind of funny going from those graphics to this. Not that I'm complaining. I think this looks fantastic, if you ask me. Sure, it looks dated by today's standards, but... and here we are, our first bonfire. An icon of the series. These don't really have these weren't really a thing in the, back in Demon Souls. Sure, you had your your archstone thingies, the only things you use to teleport around the place. But those were just like teleporters. These are like full-on menu screens that I can't do anything with because I'm just starting the game. I'm just gonna leave. There it is. Never really explained exactly what the whole bonfire situation is with the sword and all that jazz, but they're neat. Be very important to keep an eye on those. I'm gonna need them going forward. Those are your save points. All right. Open up these big doors. Big room. This looks like a boss arena. Be wary of trap. Down. Oh. Hey! Ow! Yeah, I'm not equipped for this. Yep. Just skip right past it. Fun fact. When I first played this game, I forgot that Demon Souls was a thing. I thought that you were supposed to die in this boss fight. So I literally just sat there and let him kill me. And then when I respawned and realized, wait, no, I have to actually fight this guy, I think I was around then, I figured out that I wasn't in fact playing Demon Souls. So, that was a fun experience. Alright. Have to continue onward from here. Hey, buddy, what's going on? Bro tried to shoot me. Don't know what I did to this guy. Alright. Go on. Go on. I dare you try that again. Go on, buddy, let's go. Where you going? Ah, no dice. Alright, now we're armed and dangerous. Ha! Solid effort. But not quite. I am now armed and dangerous, as stated before. Alright. Oh, hey, I knew that guy. I know that guy. You're the dude that dropped the dead body in my cell with the key. What are you doing chilling in here? How did you get in there to begin with? Forgot to highlight it, but we just went through another one of those fake out boss doors. Yeah, I still don't know why they felt the need to include just random like fog walls around the place. Can't reach that. Oh yeah, there's jumping in this game. How crazy is that? It's not gonna be good for jumping up little heights like that, but it's more of like a jump. It's more like a leap forward, honestly. But it could come in handy. No, seriously though, how did he get in there? There's no door in here, and this thing is caved in. Did he fall through a hole? Did you like fall into the hole and now you're just chilling? I mean, no judgments if you are. Come down here. Get ourselves a shortcut, early game shortcut back to the bonfire. You'll love to see it. Now I'm gonna do something funny here, and then I'm gonna go up these stairs, and I'm just gonna let this happen. That was easily dodgeable, but I just wanted to experience that, just for kicks. I don't know how they got a big old bowling ball up at the top. I also don't even know what rolled it out after me, but oh well. Hey, buddy, what's up?
Oh, you.
Yeah, me.
You're no hollow.
As I checked.
I'm done for, I'm afraid. I'll die soon, then lose my sanity. I wish to
I'm
ask
sorry to hear
something
that.
of you. You and I, we're both undead.
I am?
Hear me out, will you?
Sure.
Regrettably, I have failed in my mission, but perhaps you can keep the torch lit. There is an old saying in my family. Thou who art undead art chosen. In thine exodus from the undead asylum, maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringeth the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know.
It's odd sailing. Oddly specific.
And I can die with hope in my heart. Oh, one more thing. Here, take this. An Estus flask. An undead favorite.
And there's our healing. Notice we only have 5.
Oh, and this.
Undead Asylum, F2 key. I'm guessing floor 2, east key.
Now I must bid farewell. I would hate to harm you after death. So go now, and thank you.
All right, Oscar. Thanks for setting me free. I'll make you proud. Yep, it's gonna be a lot of that. Just stuff like moments like that. Just a little heavy there. Anywho, we push on. Hey, what's up? Were you the guy that threw the boulder at me? Well, I just want you to know I didn't appreciate it. There we go. And there's the key used. Good stuff. Alright. Go around here and... Oh, those guys look friendly. Hello. Wanna give it a second shot? Oh. We're the agile type, huh? I know that move. Yeah, solid effort, but not quite. Alright, this guy definitely looks a lot more serious. Let's just see how serious we're taking. How we feeling? And not serious enough. Yeah, that's right. Parrying's making a comeback. Things are a lot simpler in terms of parrying in this game. Things become a lot less simple down the road. So, while falling, press R1 to go into a plunging attack. Now, I believe that was also a new feature added. You couldn't do plunging attacks in Demon Souls, so the addition of the plunging attack is kind of a big deal. So it's cool that they highlighted it. Gonna heal up real quick, and then traverse the white light. And did you look at that? Hey, boy, I got a present for you. Yow! How do you like that? You know what? I don't think he liked it. Well, I don't like getting sat on. That's all effort, but okay, I deserve that. Okay, that didn't even hit me. I recognize that move. Yeah, not quite, sir. I don't feel like getting smashed. And defeated. And that's just the big Pilgrim Key. And humanity. Neat. Alright, 2,000 souls. And I still hear stomping. I remember that used to consider me back then. I was like, wait, I'm still hearing the stomping. What's the big deal? I didn't realize. Of course, that was because I didn't realize that there was another one of those big boys here. It's still here in the building, so. I'm not really gonna have to worry about that for a while, though. Instead, we're just gonna continue forward. With that boss fight concluded, all that taken care of, we've effectively completed the tutorial. And all without a mandatory death. It's a different game, I tells you. Alright. This is a nice cliff.
Only in the ancient legends it is stated that one day an undead shall be chosen.
Wait, no, Fred Heights!
To leave the undead asylum in pilgrimage to the land of the ancient lords. Lordran.
Well, alrighty then. I'm hearing an awful lot about prophecies and legends and prophecies. Maybe not prophecy, but there's definitely legends. Apparently just some undead dude is just gonna get snatched by a bird and then do something. Something about bells, I guess. Oh! Okay, I guess this is where I'm stopping. Well, this place looks pleasant. Let Lordran level up and kindle at bonfires. Neat! Unlike once again, unlike Demon Souls. Leveling up is done right here. Right at this bonfire. Your menu, you got leveling up, kindling, you got reverse hollowing. Those would be very important mechanics going forward. I don't know how often I'll be utilizing them, but at least in the early game I probably won't be utilizing the hollowing and the kindling. Like, reverse hauling is essentially the same as returning to your body like returning to body form in Demon Souls, only without the half health, which is neat. You're at full health at all times, and the only thing you really lose, it's mostly just an aesthetic. You can tell because I look like a shriveled up grape. I'm currently in hollow form. Not that I've gone hollow, just I'm looking kind of deadish, so I can spend humanities, which is those resources, and reverse my hollowing, and I'll look more like I did before, when I was customizing my character. Don't really need to do that at the moment, though. What I do need to do, though, is boost some stats here. So I'm going to give myself strength and dex, and 1 point into health. And there you go. Alright, and here we are at Firelink Shrine. Arguably one of the best hub areas in the game. Sure, it's not nearly as impressive as the Nexus. There's considerably less stairs, but it's only a very, I don't know, very warm, very homely, I guess. And hello, good sir.
Well, what do we have here? You must be a new arrival.
How could you
Let
tell?
me guess. Fate of the undead, right?
Something like that.
Well, you're not the first. But there's no salvation here. You'd have done better to rot in the undead asylum. But too late now.
You sound awfully familiar, sir.
Since you're here, let me help you out. There are actually 2 bells of awakening. One's up
Okay.
above in the undead church. The other is far, far below, in the ruins at the base of Blight Town.
Blight Town, you say?
And something happened. Brilliant, right? Not much to go on. But I have a feeling that won't stop you. So, off you go. It is why you came, isn't it? To this accursed land of the undead?
You're just that dude from Demon Souls again. I thought you died. So you did what? Copy pasted you and brought you into a new game? I suppose you're less of a sourpuss than the other one was. Not just being like, okay, yeah, just go over here and then lament about how everything sucks now. I mean, you still kind of give me that vibe, kind of just chilling here, but I mean, at least you gave me pointers, so I suppose there's that.
Ah, your face. You're practically hollow.
Nah, I'm just thirsty.
Going hollow could solve quite a bit.
Like what? I guess someone died here. Wasn't really mean to click that.
What? Restoring your humanity? Well, there are a few ways to go about it. Collected bit by bit from corpses. Or you can butter up a cleric and get yourself summoned.
Summoning.
And the quickest way,
I don't know what happened.
although I'd never do it, is to kill a healthy undead and pillage its humanity. Coveting thy neighbor is only human, after all.
Yeah, no, coveting is a sin, so I'm only happy to say no thank you.
What are you looking at?
You?
Don't try anything clever. You might regret it.
Oh, don't worry, sir. There's nothing clever about me.
Hmm? What? You want to hear more?
I'm here, right?
That's all we need. Another inquisitive soul.
Hey,
Well,
come on.
Listen carefully, then. One of the bells is up above in the undead church, but the lift is broken. You'll have to climb the stairs up the ruins and access the undead burn through the waterway. The other bell is back
Of course, there's
down
always
below
stairs.
the undead burn, within the plague-infested Blight Town. But
That sounds familiar.
die again before I step foot in that cesspool.
Just my luck. Got another poison song to deal with. Oh, whatever. Any nuggets of wisdom?
Bloody hell, what is it now?
Just asking questions, man.
Ask too many questions.
Well, sorry. I just want to know.
What now? I'm not up for chatting. Leave me alone.
Okay, fine. Well, howdy. No response. She cannot speak. Good talk. Good luck. Thank you. Alright, there's one other person I'm gonna have to have a bit of a quick chat with in this area. Ooh, 3 humanities. That'll come in handy. I'm gonna try and spend as little humanities as possible in this run for reasons that'll become clear down the road. But right now, I'm just gonna say that. That's all I'm gonna say for now. Well, howdy!
Hello there. I believe we are not acquainted. I
Oh
am
no,
Nicholas
we're
of
quite
Gwyn.
acquainted.
Have you business with us? If not, I prefer to keep a distance, if possible.
Okay. You should just tell people, like, hey, go away, I don't want to be friends.
Hello there. I realize that I have requested that we retain our distance, but I also want you to know that it is not meant in ill will. Here, take this, as a token of peace. No, go ahead. It's for you.
Isn't this kind of like him basically saying, listen, I don't want to sound mean, so here's some money. Now please leave me alone. It's kind of a funny way to look at it.
Oh my, you again.
Me again, indeed.
I know. How about this? I have to await my companions here anyway. So what if I were to teach you some miracles? Would that please you?
Well, at least you're actually, like, making the offer instead of just saying, oh, hey, how's it going? Well, good luck. Yeah, sure, why not?
Very well. Then first, a covenant with the gods.
There's only one God, sir. Just the same. Covenant established.
Now let me share my miracles. Only their ultimate effectiveness will be determined by your efforts and your faith.
Okay. So this guy, go talk to the person miracles, obviously. They're very basic, but you know, that's nothing much to say about that. There's also talismans, those are your casting items. Functionally speaking, they're exactly the same as they are in Demon Souls. Actually, no, that's been inaccurate. For one, you're gonna notice that I don't have mana. Iron Shrug. Okay then.
Come again. The effectiveness...
Yeah, you already told me that. So the main difference between Demon Souls and Dark Souls, as far as spellcasting, is unlike Demon Souls, where you have a mana bar. In Demon Souls, every spell has a set number of uses. You just usually need to make sure you have a certain amount of intelligence to use certain spells, and a certain amount of faith to use certain miracles. And like I said, each one has limited casts. So like a heal spell will probably have like 3 to 4 or 5 casts. I forget exactly how many. You only get like magic bolts and stuff like that. Unlike the previous playthrough, though, like the last playthrough, I'm probably not gonna do any sort of spell casting in this particular run. I'm gonna do a very straightforward, pure offense build. I might consider doing a spell casting, a more intelligence / faith based builds down the road if I end up doing more content like this. Of course, we'll just have to get through this initial playthrough first before that happens. And this is and I just ran afoul of some skeletons. And they hurt. Run! Evasive action! I'm being chased by a gaggle of bones. Gotta find safety. Safety and fire. Yeah, so that's the area I can go to. But it's probably a bad idea because it's full of skeletons. The skeletons hurt. Alright, so the path forward is basically up there, those steps that the guy just pointed out. But before I go down said path, I want to go down to this little area down here. It's a little out of the way, but it's here. It's right here in the starting area. There are actually like multiple paths forward going through. It's one of the kind of neat things about this. So obviously there are no archstones in this game, so it's not like you can just pick and choose like different levels to jump into. There is a very clear set path forward, and all the worlds are essentially interconnected. And this is an example of one of those different worlds you're able to visit. The whole world is more or less a section. And we appear to be underground. Soul of a nameless soldier. Poor guy. New Londo ruins. Look quite quaint. I don't know why they decided to build an entire, looks like an entire town in a cave. I'm sure there was some genius behind it, but these guys who don't seem to be bothered by my presence at all, so I think I'll just kind of leave them be. I mainly just want to come down here to say hi to this guy. What up?
Well, this is unusual. You haven't lost your head.
Yep, still attached.
Importantly, you're free. How on earth? Well, I shouldn't pry. I'm Rickett of Vinheim.
Nice to meet you, Rickard.
Once an established smith. Look at me now. Can you believe it?
Well, I see it, so
What is it?
just chatting.
Have you? Oh no. Don't worry. I've no intention of escape. It's safe here. Can't bear the thought of going hollow out there. Although, I must admit, I've not much to occupy myself.
I mean,
How
yeah,
about this? I could forge your weapons, albeit with rather minimal tools. I'll show you what made me the best in Vinheim.
so you're a blacksmith. That's cool. You can modify equipment. I got no weapons for ascension. Reinforced weapons. I do not have upgrade materials, so that ain't gonna do me any good. And you can upgrade your armor in this, which is neat. I'm probably not gonna do that, but you know, it's cool. Can repair my stuff. I don't really need to repair this though. Durability is a lot higher in this game, though it can still be kind of annoying. Now this guy, hilariously, despite being a blacksmith, he's much more designed as to be like an early magic resource for magic builds. It comes with an extra like soul arrows and heavy soul arrows and such.
Come back soon. Smithing helps soothe my nerves. Don't let me wither away out of idleness.
Well, if I need something enchanted, I'll let you know, sir. Good to meet you. But yeah, that's kind of like for early game. There is some more like resources you can get for like magic builds down the road, but if you want to get really in early on, then that's essentially what Rickard's for. That, and he can also do some basic upgrades. The upgrade system in this is slightly different. I say slightly. There's like a different upgrade system for every single Souls game. This one is somewhat simpler, I would say. Although it can still be kind of annoying. Like, the grind is a bit less irritating in this. That said, the amount of resources needed to upgrade your weapons is still annoying. Like, there's always these different kinds of stones and things you need to get to upgrade your weapons. I was never a big fan of that as an upgrade system, but alright, there's nothing to it now. We carry forward. Onward to glory! Oh boy, that's gonna be tricky. Nice shot. I mean, not quite. You missed your target, but solid effort at least. I gotta watch out for that guy up there. No, thank you. I don't feel like getting stabbed today, sir. Much less getting bombs blown up in my face. What's it with people and just throwing bombs at you? Nope, nope. Ow. Ow. Double kill. Alright. I definitely could have performed that better, but no biggie. I got this soul of a lost undead. I'm not sure how different I'm going to handle this in terms of like leveling. I know in Demon Souls I basically avoided using poppable souls. I basically just had a whole bunch of them sitting in a box somewhere. I may do that a little bit differently here. If nothing else, just to make sure I keep my levels up. And look at that. A rat. Rats are among some of the more annoying mobs you'll find in these games. It occurred to me that other than that one time I had to fight my way through a room full of rats, I don't think there were really any rat enemies in Demon Souls. Which is nice, I suppose, but unfortunately we're gonna have to deal with rats now in this game. Dogs are way more annoying, but rats can be pretty annoying themselves. Unfortunately, I have to deal a lot more with those down the road. Gentlemen! As the blurbs just pointed out, we are in Undead Burg. Kind of makes me wonder, was it always called Undead Burg, or did they only start calling it that recently? Well, it appeared to be just like a little town here within a bunch of walls. Like, you know, why is it called a burg? Like, what does a burg even mean? Hey, what's up? Nope, not quite. Took me a while to realize that these guys essentially have the same moveset as the Druglings from the first game. You know what, that little wild swing they like to do? And even the part where they kind of just jump and start whacking in the face. Oh, it's kind of funny. Only these guys are undead, obviously. Oh, thank you. These are your standard hollows. They are very simple enemies, but also can easily kill you if you're not careful. Of course, you could say that about every enemy in this game. But you know, like I said, a lot of, it's very true for these guys, though. I've died enough times to these guys to think, you think, oh, they're easy, they're just these dudes with some broken blades, but then you end up being have your health get shredded because you're dumb enough not to be paying attention. But that time I was paying attention, and that's why you're falling to your death. Hey, what's up? No, thank you. Something I don't think I utilize enough, but I'm definitely going to try and utilize a bit more, is the counter damage. So in this game, kind of similar to how, like, in certain, during certain animations, you do a lot more damage, because the enemies are doing, the enemies are, what's the word I'm looking for? If you do a damage to an enemy while they're doing a certain animation, like doing an attack animation, you do bonus damage, and they call that counter damage. And apologies if I'm struggling to speak a little bit right now. I'm a little on the sleepy side. I'm trying to power through and keep this going. Alright. Gotta scour a bit for these those little extra items here. Kind of like much the same. I'm not necessarily doing it because I need said items. I'm mostly just doing it for completion's sake. Alright. Okay, jump across that gap, and here is another one of those fog walls. You'd be forgiven for thinking that leads to a boss, but no, we're not doing that today. At least not right now. Alright, going up here. Okay. This is basically just the same opening section as before. It's Bolletari all over again, only it's Undead Burg. Hey, what's up? Not quite. What you got? Solid effort, but still no dice. I would appreciate now not being shot at. I'm gonna take out this guy here. Oh, wow. Bro took 3 hits instead of 2. How crazy is that? And look, there's a bonfire. Alright. Fun fact, I'm well acquainted with this bonfire because back in the day when I was still getting kind of new to this game, I hadn't quite figured out the mechanics yet. I was stuck in this spot here specifically. Like, I had a hard time with just these guys. But, you know, that was then, this is now. Now, I am the kind of guy who reads through Demon Souls in three or four live streams. Let's see how many it takes me to get through this one. I doubt it'll be particularly fast. Because the difficulty, the one that definitely ramps up to this one. There will definitely be a point in this game where I start to struggle. Even though I didn't beat this game more than once. So, let's see when that time comes. Hey, what's up? Were you just chilling in a corner? Well, if you were trying to ambush me, you could have chosen a better method than just breaking your cover. Hola, amigo. ¿Cómo estás?
Well now, you seem to have your wits about you, hmm? Then
Thank
you
you.
are a welcome customer. I trade for souls. Everything's for sale.
I mean, the laugh was kind of unnecessary, but okay. We got quite a few things. Residence key, buy this box. Quite a few starting weapons that would be very useful, but none of them are the weapons I am looking for specifically. So we're not going to bother with these, or that, or these. Nope, but I will bother with this, the residence key. There's some stuff up ahead that I'm going to want to get my hands on.
Thank you kindly.
You're welcome, sir. Thanks for being polite. And why are you painting the air? Okay. Hey,
Oh,
quick question.
You again.
Yeah,
I
me
hope you
again.
brought plenty of souls.
I will. I'm just mostly just chatting.
Things are getting treacherous in these parts. A
Getting?
horrible goat demon has moved in below.
A
And up
goat demon?
above, there's that humongous drake and a bull demon too. If you stick around this place, it might end up being your grave.
Good advice, I guess.
Here, I'm not here to chit-chat. We talk business, or we talk nothing at all.
Okay then.
What a waste of time.
Hey.
Don't fall off a cliff.
Bad business acumen there, sir. Were I doing a different build, I might have killed the guy. Out of context, that sounds hilarious. It's a good thing my attacks do sweep. I have a little sweeping motion because. Ow. Really gotta watch out for these guys. I would say they're easier to deal with than Dreadlings, but it might be just because your motions are a lot more. You have a lot smoother motions in this versus Demon Souls. Throwing knife. All right, this is where we employ our new trick. Yeehaw! I missed. All right, that went better in my head. But you get the idea, right? You know what I was going for. We can try that again. How jumping is done is kind of funny because you have to run to do it, and then you gotta take your, then you gotta like release the dash button, and then press it again in like one quick motion. It's a little weird, but it's not too bad once you get used to it. Alright, second time's a charm. Make sure we get this name right. Yeehaw! And there we go. Easy peasy. Very handy for exploring various different areas. Light crossbow. I'm not a bit of a crossbow guy, but it will be nice to have my hands on, you know, an effective weapon. Alright. Those are the extra spaces I can explore. I'm gonna go rest at the bonfire real quick and then continue forward. Okay, I'm gonna grab this here. Don't need that, but you know, it's nice. It is nice that they got rid of the weight system in this. Like, you still have the equipment load. Like, wearing too much armor will make you heavy roll, but you don't have to worry about item weight. Like, you're effectively just got a bottomless box in your pockets, which is nice. All right. We're good here, and of course these guys responded because that's what happens when you rest at bonfires. It is cool though that they respawn. They effectively just respawn indefinitely, because that just means you can farm for souls whenever you like. I'm not gonna make a deliberate attempt to farm too often unless it's for like specific items. I'm only just killing these guys because I don't want to be chased around the place. Alright, I gotta watch out for these guys. Yeah, I don't feel like getting whacked. Oh, no, took my eyes off the situation real quick. Touch the sign of the Grave Lord's servant. Someone is grave lording right now. Do I dare? Do I dare? You know, I don't really normally do this, but let's try it. We're gonna be invading a Grave Lord servant, which means I'm gonna be invading another player. Let's see how fast I die. I don't really do a whole lot of online play, but I figure why not. Uh-oh. Well, that went about as well as one could expect. I didn't actually lose anything in that, although I guess these guys responded. So it's my understanding that there's a system in this game called there's a covenant system in this game, and more often than not, those covenants are essentially exist for PvP purposes. In the case of the Grave Lord servant, they're members of the Grave Lord servant covenant, obviously, and I guess you have the players more or less have the option to invade them whenever you see that sign just pop up. It's not something I've really dealt with a whole lot, so I am rather unfamiliar with it. But it is worth noting that I'm probably going to be seeing that sign a lot. And I'm also probably going to be getting a hilarious notification every now and again. I wonder what that says, if it says anything at all. I'm curious about how this is gonna go going forward, because I do have it set to online. Like, I am online, so there are other players can definitely invade me at some point. Mind you, I'm fine where I am at, because you usually don't get invaded when you're hollow. Invasions mainly only happen when you're in human form, or when you've reversed your hollowing. So as long as I remain in undead form, then I'm pretty much fine. guys. This guy dropped a firebomb. Those are the guys who were throwing firebombs at me earlier. I think we gotta have a chat. How about no? Solid effort. It's a shame I can't just like keep continuing forward. I'm pretty sure if I try to go to that Gravelord Serpent again, these guys will just respawn. And while it wouldn't be too big of a deal, I'd rather not. Gold pine resin. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to get that resonance key, because the resonance key obviously opens that door. And gold pine resin is like the resin we had earlier, that stuff that enchanted my weapons with fire. The gold pine resin essentially works the same, only it enchants it with lightning, which is a great pickup just over right now. And you'll figure out here in a bit. But first I gotta get rid of these guys. But before I go to these guys, I'm gonna go up here, because someone's gonna try to be cheeky. Follow soldiers. Bunch of fun lads. Alright, gentlemen. You're next. Let's do this one at a time. Solid effort. Unfortunately, I know how to parry. How about you? No dice. Think you need new moves. Alright. Joke's on you, sir. I know this trick. So I'm going to go up here, and then when he does that, I'm going to dodge. And you missed! Yeah, points for trying. Alright, up that way is where I'm going to need to go to get to the boss fight. However, there's a bit of a side path right here. I want to jump down and then see this bad boy. Look at that. That, my friends, is what we call a Black Knight. Not quite the same as those blue-eyed knights we dealt with earlier. For one, these guys pack a much bigger punch. These guys, and they're harder to kill. But the rewards they give are a lot better if you're willing to risk it. Don't know why this guy's just standing there staring off into space, but here he is. Give me one sec here. Alright, so as dangerous as this guy is, I know a very simple trick on how to take him down. Just gotta make sure I approach him very quietly. Boom! Backstab. Alright, not a lot of damage, but better than nothing. Ah! Get parried, sir. Want to try it again? Oh! Not quite. How about that again? Maybe try a new move this time. Alright, one more time. Oh! Oh, he's still got a bit of health left. One more time. And that's that. Now, here's the great question. What are you going to drop for me? Black Knight Shield. Alright, he dropped a shield and a Titanite Trunk. That's a really high level upgrade. And Blue Tearstone Ring. Not a weapon, not a ring I really need to use, but I'll put it on anyway. It boosts defense when HP is low. Again, not really a ring I'm keen on using a whole lot because I try not to run around with low health. But I'll wear it just cause. Oh, I'm just now realizing something. By going after the Gravelord Serpent, I lost all my extra Estus flasks. It's not a big deal, but... So, I didn't really explain this when I said I was, but... Unlike Demon Souls, where you have access to essentially like infinite... Not infinite, but as many as you can hold, those little grass things that you use to heal. You just pick those up and you eat them and you heal. In Dark Souls, they introduced a limited number of healing system. The heals in this are these little things called the Estus Flask. It's infinitely reusable. Because all you gotta do is sit at a bonfire and it will reset your heals. But you're only given a certain number of heals. Like right now, I only got 5 Estus Flasks, which means I can only heal with that 5 times. The only way I get those 5 heals back is by resting at a bonfire, which obviously resets bad guys. So it's always a reset point. So the idea of using... Oh, someone beat him. Someone beat the Grey Lord guy. Anyway, the system is intended to encourage players to be a lot more strategic with their heals. You can't just spam heals and then hope for victory. Which I think is really neat, especially the way they execute it in this game. There is a way for me to increase the number of heals I get, but right now I get like a maximum of 5, and I can get 10 if I rest at certain bonfires. Which one of those is the one at Fire Lake Shrine. The reason that is that lady that I couldn't talk to because she can't speak. She is a firekeeper. And firekeepers essentially give like a bonus to the whatever bonfire they're near. So the Fire Lake Shrine bonfire gives you an extra 5 Estus Flasks, but only when I rest at that particular bonfire. Every other bonfire will only give me 5 for now, and we'll kind of just leave it at that for now. Now I'm going to attack this because there is a crystal lizard. These guys making a comeback. Hold still. We got ourselves Twinkling Titanite and Large Titanite. All right. So yeah, those guys are still here, and those guys operate more or less the same as the crystal lizards in the other game. Only I think these ones drop a lot more high level upgrade material. And they're going to be a lot harder to farm in this game than they are. There's a lot less crystal lizards in this game. And they don't respawn after you kill them. Each crystal lizard is a one-time thing. They will... You can retry them as often as you like, but... once that crystal lizard is dead, it's gone. Alright, now we're going to go through here. We're going to meet up with our very first boss, who hilariously does not spawn right away. However, I'm going to take care of something real quick. Because there's one little issue with this boss arena. These guys. Uh-oh. That's surprising. Hey guys, can you give me a sec? Not gonna lie, I was not expecting a vagrant to be here. Inhumanities, alright. Okay, so that was what I call a vagrant. It is a very rare kind of enemy. Now, I'm assuming that vagrant was there because of the Gravelord guy dying. Maybe. Alternatively, it might have happened because of... You know, I don't know why that guy was here, actually. I don't really understand 100% how vagrants work. They very rarely show up. They mostly happen as a result of certain online mechanics, I believe. But... I wonder if it has something to do with the fact that I died during an invasion. Like, not died in this world, because I didn't lose my souls, but I did die during an invasion. So I wonder if that has anything to do with it. I don't know. It's a red vagrant, so... There's red vagrants, and then there's, like, white vagrants. I think white vagrants are very different than red ones. Who's to say? But, that was that. Real quick, before I spawn the boss in, I'm going to put on these gold pine resin. There's a very specific reason for that, but I'm also going to two-hand because this guy's not really big for blocking. Oh, we continue forward. Who wants it? What up, big boy? Must be the bull dude that I was mentioning earlier. Ow. I missed. Alright, that little lingering hitbox is gonna be an issue. Alright, wanna try that again? So iframes with this guy are kind of wonky, so I'm probably just gonna have to work on less on dodging and more on just getting out of the way. Hold still. Ooh, that was a close one. Okay, that worked. That actually worked a lot better. And this guy staggers. Charge! That's victory. The guy's also humanity and homeward bone. And at least 3,000 souls. How good is that? So, yeah, as you might have noticed, I did not get my humanity back by killing the guy. Now, unfortunately, this does not operate the same way as Demon Souls does. So, we have to manually restore our humanity every single time. Not a big deal. Like I said, it mainly affects like things like multiplayer. Like obviously I'll get invaded more often. World tendency is not a thing here, so I don't really have to worry too much about that. I did get a humanity though, so I could just restore humanity if I wanted to. But right now we're just gonna worry about talking to this guy over here. This guy's the best. Hey, what's up?
Hello. You don't look hollow. Far from it.
Oh, thank you.
I am Solaire of Astora, an adherent of the Lord of Sunlight. Now that I am undead, I have come to this great land, the birthplace of Lord Gwyn.
I know about Gwyn.
My very own son. You find that strange? Well, you should.
Well, the sun's right there.
To hide your reaction. I get that look all the time.
Why aren't you a quaint little soul? Raise the sun, alright.
Oh, aha. So I didn't scare you.
Were you trying to?
Proposition, if you have a moment.
Yeah, sure, why not?
The way I see it, our fates appear to be intertwined. In a land brimming with hollows, could that really be mere chance?
Well, I don't really believe in luck, so.
Why not help one another on this lonely journey?
Well, I don't really plan on doing summons in this game, but...
This pleases me greatly. Well then, take this.
White Sign Soapstone.
We are amidst strange beings in a strange land. The flow of time itself is convoluted, with heroes centuries old phasing in and out. The very fabric wavers, and relations shift and obscure. There's no telling how much longer your world and mine will remain in contact. But use this to summon one another as spirits, cross the gaps between the worlds, and engage in jolly cooperation. Of course, we are not the only ones engaged in this, but I am a warrior of the sun. Spot my summon signature easily by its brilliant aura. If you miss it, you must be blind.
Man, he's such a jolly fellow. You gotta love Solaire. He's one of the few bright spots you'll find in a game like this.
Oh, hello there. I will stay behind to gaze at the sun. The sun is a wondrous body, like a magnificent father. If only I could be so grossly incandescent.
It's an interesting dream, sir. I hope you get it. And I'll see you later, man. Solaire Astora, otherwise known as the Sun Bro. He's everyone's favorite Souls companion, at least in the first game. Of course, let's be real here. Solaire is one of the best in all Souls, if you ask me. He's also mainly there to introduce cooperation, which means, you know, summoning extra NPCs into boss fights, which you couldn't really do in Demon Souls. Like in Demon Souls, summoning was a thing, but you had to summon other players. there weren't like NPCs or like characters within the game itself that you could summon, but they introduced that here in Dark Souls, and they do that with Solaire. So there's going to be various bosses throughout the game where Solaire is an option as an NPC summon that you could use if you wanted to like go into the fight with a extra hand. The trade-off is that the boss gets more health as a result. Everything, so it's always something to keep in mind. I, however, am not planning on doing summons for this playthrough. I'm just gonna go it straight up solo with it. I've done summons in the past. I do not think there's any issue or anything particularly wrong with using summons. It's a built-in mechanic in the game, and I don't think it makes the game super duper easy by comparison. Like some sure it'll make some fights easier, but honestly, I think it's fine. I'm not one of those diehards who thinks that, oh, you're not a real Souls player if you're using summons or something like that. Alright, I'm gonna fix this DC real quick. Alright, now there's the path forward. I believe that's the area we're looking for. It looks like a bell tower over there in that distance. However, there's an issue right here. This bridge should look awfully familiar to anybody from Demon Souls. In fact, I'm just gonna run up here real quick and run back. And there it is. Ha! Thought I'd fall for your trick, did ya? Although you're not flying off, so this might be an issue. Alright. So that guy is 100% just going to blast me in the face if I continue forward. So I'm going to go down here. Now what I could do is I could go through here and then go under the dragon. Or Hellkite Drake, I think it's called. However, there's rats over there, and I don't want to deal with rats. If I don't have to deal with the rats, I don't want to. But first things first, let's go over here, because this is a very important area. Right here, this ladder, and kick it down. Notice there's a bonfire down here. Slide down. And here we are, all the way back. Back to where we started. How neat is that? The world design in this game is legendary. Especially with just how it just kind of just wraps back around after that boss fight. Alright, I'm gonna sit here. It's gonna respawn all the enemies, but that's fine. I can just head straight back to where I was. No progress lost. Boost my strength up to 16, which is all I really need to at this stage of the game. Give myself more health, because health is good. And then I think I'll keep pumping. I'll pump more of it into dexterity. We got ourselves quite a bit of souls to spend just now, so might as well spend them. Alright. We are going to continue forward. As it stands, we're about roughly an hour or so in. Beaten 2 bosses so far out of, I think there's like 18. My math might be off. Alright. This part's gonna be fun. Yeah. Like I said, gonna be lots of fun. So, I could go underneath the bridge, totally skipping the dragon fight, and that's totally a legitimate way to go forward. Or you could do this method that I'm going to play right here, because you notice there's a bonfire right there. And now I charge for the bonfire. Charge! Safety! Now I'm going to sit before the guy takes notice. Easy as pie. Not that making a pie is easy. So fun fact, that is literally the only way to access this particular bonfire. Because if you were to go under the bridge and around, this gate right here would be closed, and you wouldn't be able to access it. However, you got to know how to get past the Hellkite Drake to do that. So this area is really important because this is where you can join a covenant. Like, I'm already in a Covenant. It's the Way of White Covenant. It's basically very easy, very simple Covenant that honestly is just there because it's a good way to introduce you to Covenant mechanics. However, this one up here is good for Covenants, for more faith-based style play. To be more specific, it's essentially the Covenant that Solaire is a part of. That the Warriors of Sunlight, they're called. That's one that much more built towards the jolly cooperation that he mentioned. However, I need a certain amount of faith to be able to join it. That's hence why nothing is happening at the moment, which is fine. I don't really plan on joining any I might join the Warriors of Sunlight if I'm being honest. I don't really know if I don't really think I'm going to be doing a whole lot in the way of PvP in this game. So, all right, we're entering a new area, which means these enemies are gonna have more health. It's gonna be which could be a bit tricky if I'm not careful. It's only gonna take more hits to kill this time around. I can ignore the archer guy, honestly. I just wanted to grab these items here. Alright, reset that back. Notice the Hellkite Drake disappeared. He will come back if I try to run across the bridge, but right now, I'm just going to continue forward. Right now, we're continuing forward into what we call the Undead Parish. Right here. Got ourselves a longsword. I already have a longsword. That's the weapon I'm using. However, it's not the weapon I intend to stick with. The one I intend to stick with is actually past this. Past that. That thing right there staring down at me. I don't know if you can tell how easy you can tell from here. It's like an iron bore thing. Yeah, that might be a bit tricky getting forward, but past that. Instead, I'm going to go up here. This is not an alternative route. However, there is something very interesting over here that I'm going to see if I survive long enough to showcase it. What up, big boy? Yep, there's another Black Knight up here. Only this guy's got a significantly bigger sword. Go on, hit me. How does a sword that big be parried so easily? Now the big question is, will he drop the sword? Because that would be fantastic. There is a random chance he'll drop his sword, but it's not guaranteed. Do not ask me how I parried that. Or that. Oh my goodness, I got the sword. How crazy is that? Black Knight Greatsword. It's huge! And look at the stat requirements. I need 32 strength and 18 dex to use it. I'm not using this weapon. It's cool that I have it, though. Once upon a time, I tried doing a run that was built around using only Black Knight weapons. Because Black Knight weapons are actually really powerful, especially against demons, but we're not doing that this time. Alright. We're gonna have to deal with this one undead at a time. So let's draw this first guy over. Well, at least parry still work. Alright, we'll let this guy wander over. I do this little trick. Alright, so that guy is gonna run, he's gonna close the gate, which is gonna prevent me from going past that. Besides, I doubt I would survive long enough to get past the gate anyway with Big Boy over here. However, I know exactly what to do to deal with this big boy. Let's just hope it works. It doesn't always work, but let's try it. Alright, let's go. Ready? Haha! You fool. Plunging attack. Boom. Easy work. Unfortunately, he didn't drop anything. Alright, you're next. Oh, that is a really unfortunate sword placement. Wasn't me feeling that in the morning. Oh, no. Actually, no, he's not. He's dead. Oh, well. Hey, look. No, no, he's running. Okay. And there's more of them. Alright. It's a good thing I got eyes. And it's a good thing these guys are slow. It's also good that these guys are weak. Because... However, if there were a lot of them, we'd have an issue. Alright, that guy's done. What you gonna do, buddy? Okay, fine. Let's go this way. Tried to backstab me, huh? No dice. Alright, what you gonna do? Come on, face me. That was a solid effort, man. You deserve props for that. Darn it. Destruction. Mystery key. You know what? Something I don't really do is read descriptions. What appears to be a basic prison cell key. Okay. I suggested at the end of the last video, the last live stream, that if someone wanted a more lore-based video done, then I'd be happy to do so. I'll pose that question, that same question at the end of this one. This one is not really going to be heavy on the lore. If you wanted a lore-heavy run, then I'd be happy to do that as well. But once again, we're going to be focusing on just general getting through the game. Exploring, you know, and having fun, engaging with certain mechanics. Obviously, I'll talk to the NPCs. Not just going to ignore people, but it won't be as in-depth a video as some people do. Yep, totally skip past those guys. You missed. All right, this guy's gonna be interesting. Again, I don't know why he's not turning his back away from a potential play, or from the direction where he could potentially get stabbed. It's really reckless. He's just standing there chilling, waiting for someone to do this. Ah! Oh, don't you dare! Ow! Alright, the damage on this sword has already dropped off quite a bit. My shield, sweet. Of course, I've only had to heal like once so far, so I'm already doing decently enough. You have to watch out though; those Balder Knights are called. It could be tricky. Ow! How rude! I don't appreciate getting stabbed, sir. And by trick, I mean their swords are a bit harder to detect, so parrying is going to be a lot harder to do. And yet, here we are! Get parried, son! Balder Helm. That could be good. Ow. I meant to kick his shield. Again, I meant to kick his shield. That didn't quite go according to plan, but I suppose there's worse ways it could have gone. Alright, that's the path forward. However, I'm going to make a bit of a slight detour over here, because there's something I want. Alright, big boy. Come at me. Get backstabbed, son. Alright. So these guys are obviously have better armor and better weapons, but they're not that hard compared to the others. You just gotta stay on your toes when you're fighting them. And this is what I came here for. This is not going to be the end-game weapon. However, it is the weapon I am going to be using for a good portion of the game. And right now, it's already a lot better than the weapon I'm using. Unfortunately, it's slightly heavier than that, but thankfully, we're not fat rolling. We're only medium rolling. I could mitigate that if I take off some of the armor, which maybe I should. So, funny thing, the weight mechanic is built off of equip load. You'll see it underneath the stamina on the top right. As long as my maximum equip load right now at my current stat is 52. That's how much I can. That's maximum amount I can fit. However, if I exceed 50% of my equipment load, so like if my max is 52, then half 50% will be 26. If I exceed 26 equipment load, then I will start fat rolling. So if I don't want to fat roll, I need to make sure I do not exceed that. So I can't go above this. Right now it's at 24. And in this game includes, I think in Demon Souls, there's only really two kinds of rolls. There's your light rolls and your fat rolls. In this game, there is light rolls, there's medium rolls, which is what I'm doing currently, and there's fat rolls. Medium rolls happen anywhere from 25 to 50% max equipment load. I need to be under 25 to get light rolls. So right now, if I take off, I think, will this work? No, I'm still medium rolling. I need to get below 13, I think, equipment load in order to light roll. Okay, there we go. And see, that's what I need to do to light roll. I could, alternatively, forego the shield entirely and at least be able to wear no shirts, but I can wear gloves. I think. Yep. So this is what I could do. This is what I need to light roll. Light rolling is good because it gives you like a maximum number of iframes and it's quick. Most people who play this will try to stick to light rolling as much as possible. Trouble is, I can barely wear any armor in this state. And right now, I don't even have a shield. However, I am using halberd, which does quite a bit of damage already, as you can already see. Alright, get that open. This is just in case I die and have to go back to the bonfire. At least now I don't have to go through the underpass. Alright, we're going to continue forward. We're pretty close to the nearest bonfire. However, I still got to fight my way through these guys. And I'm going to have to employ a lot more dodge mechanics here since I don't have a shield. Alright, gotta stay on my toes. I stabbed the guy through the guy. How neat is that? That's what I call counter damage. Missed me. There we go. Alright. And now off we go in this direction. Alright. I hear hammer swings. That's good news, I think. At least I think it's good news. I do believe hammer swings would generally be a good sign. Here's our bonfire. We're officially safe. So those jaunts can be fun. Like, there's gonna be those long sections where you don't have a bonfire and you're just gonna be running from end to end looking for one, and it can be really stressful at certain parts of the game where there's just this long stretch where there's no bonfires. That's where those can be tricky, but thankfully we found this one. All right, I'm gonna pump these into health because I'm definitely gonna need it. Okay, we're gonna go down here and see if I look for the source of that hammering. Hey, big boy! Look at that. Now that's the blacksmith I ever saw one.
Well, you must be a new arrival.
What gave me away?
Andre of Astoria.
What up?
If you require smithing, then speak to me.
Alright. Good to go. Good to know. Hoorah! Andre of Astoria. This guy is fantastic. He'll be the main blacksmith for pretty much the entire game. Sure, Rickart's good, especially in the early game, because you have to go through all this trouble just to get to Andre. So if you need if you want an early blacksmith, then Rickart's good. But like I said, Rickard is more geared towards enchantment, like magic enhancements. However, Andre is very good all around as far as that's concerned. The only exception would be there are certain enhancements that Andre cannot do. But that's not really going to matter right now. Those enhancements will be only really relevant to like way later in the game. But here we are. And now we can buy basic upgrade materials, which is great. There is this and that and all this. He sells a lot of distinct stuff. But he sells a lot of basic stuff. The main thing to get from this guy will be Titanite Shard. But also, he sells this thing called the Crest of Artorias, which is really expensive, but also very important for down the line. So I'll keep that in mind, but right now we can't afford it. It's gonna take a lot of souls. And of course, he just sells all this stuff. Now, I don't think I picked up any upgrade materials, so I can't upgrade this halberd, but...
I'll be seeing you then. Be careful out there.
Yes, sir. Alright. We have gotten through a very significant chunk of the game. Now, you're going to hear that bell from time to time. That's because we're right below the first bell that we need to get. Because you notice the guy pointed out that there's two of them, two bells of awakening. One's like deep below in Blighttown, but the other one is at the top of the undead church, and I believe this is the church in question. I want to go over here and I say hi to to probably my second favorite character in this game, if not my most favorite. He's definitely a contender with Solero, but here he is. Hey, what's up? What's on your mind? Penny for your thoughts?
Oh, forgive me. I was absorbed in thought.
Understandable.
I am Siegmeyer of Katarina.
Hey, nice to meet you, Ziegmar.
I've run flat up against a wall, or a gate, I should say. The thing just won't budge, no matter how long I wait. And oh, have I waited. So here I sit, in quite a pickle, weighing my options, so to speak.
Boy, aren't you a jolly onion-shaped knight? And yeah, this isn't gonna open up for a while.
Still closed. Still closed.
Indeed. Well, got to file this way in the back of your minds, because I can't go this way right now. So there's two directions I can go from here, other than just heading back up towards the church. You can go there's that direction, which unfortunately is closed for the time being, so I can't go down this way. And there's this other path down here, which leads into this room with that. It's gonna be a no from me for now. I heard someone made the argument that if you think about Dark Souls, it kind of plays like a Souls, kind of plays like a Metroidvania, where you go to progress to certain areas, and then there are certain sections of the game you can't access because you're missing certain items. And some of those items are gated behind bosses. So, I can see the comparison. It's not one-to-one, obviously, because progression is not blocked behind abilities, it's blocked behind items. And exploration isn't necessarily the goal. Exploration is certainly a major facet of the game, but obviously the goal of Dark Souls is to progress to certain points of the game. Boss fighting is the point. But, no. And backstab. Fun fact, I can still parry. No shield, but I can but it's still a lethal weapon. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna put my shield back on. And you know what? I won't be able to light roll, but I can still medium roll. When I first played this game, I got good at medium rolling. Can I still medium roll with a Balder helmet? Yes, I can. But I look silly, honestly. Well, honestly, I kind of look silly. This is too standard. Alright. Go at me. Didn't stand a chance. I don't need another longsword. Alright, we're going back up here. Alright, you're a big boy. So, fun fact, this guy is essentially another version of the Tower Knight. Obviously, he's considered significantly smaller than the one in Demon Souls, but you can see the similarities, right? Big shield, big suit of armor. There's gonna be a much more direct comparison down the road. He's also not called a Tower Knight. I think it's called a Baronique Knight. But Titanite Shard! That's a guaranteed drop for that guy. He also despawns. So funny thing, you might not notice, because I don't know if there are any bosses that, or any specific enemies that despawn in Demon Souls. I think there were some of those red phantoms that do despawn if you kill them once. But there's going to be a lot more enemies. Not a lot more, but there's going to be a handful of enemies in Dark Souls where once you kill them, they don't respawn even after you rest at a bonfire. He's one of them. Like, this guy's dead now. Those guys, you see, they'll despawn. They'll respawn after I rest at a bonfire, but not this guy. I got this. Firekeeper Soul. That is one of the ways we can upgrade our Estus Flask. It doesn't increase the number of flasks we get, but it does make the Estus Flask heal more, which is very important, because we are going to get more health down the road, and more health is good. Now this is going to be a big deal. Got ourselves this little elevator. Drops down. Where does it drop down to, you might ask? Drops down here. All the way back to Firelink Shrine. So that's obviously great from a gameplay standpoint, but the amount of people that freak out about this is one of the greatest game design decisions ever made is actually kind of funny. Not that I'm judging. No, it is pretty fantastic. And it's great because now I can sit down at this particular bonfire and get the extra 5 flasks, which I can use provided I don't die. And I can go talk to this girl over here and give her the Firekeeper Soul to reinforce my Estus Flask. So how fantastic is that? Like I said, just top tier world design. And I'm gonna level up one more time, get myself a bit more health. It's eerie how those guys kind of just look like they're actually here. And I don't really need to come back to a Firelink Shrine for anything in particular, so I'm just going to head straight back up. Which I can, because now the elevator is operational. And decisions like that are really good, especially since without the ability to teleport to your bonfires, it's great that there's an easy way to head back to the hub area. Especially in Firelink Shrine, since the Firelink Shrine is one of the few safe places within the game. I suppose there is Andre's area, but it's easier to just wander into an enemy near Andre than it is otherwise. And that's how... Okay. Not great. Stop. I was tweaking out there. Now, I don't think we're gonna have enough souls for this, but I could. You know what? I think I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna rest at the bonfire real quick, and we're gonna do some progress. We're not gonna go to the boss fight straight away. Obviously, because the boss fight's like at the top of that, but we're not gonna go to the boss fight just yet because there's some things I need to knock out before I continue. Charge forward. First things first, I'm gonna sit with it. Let's go have a chat with that. Let's go have a chat with Andre.
Well, hello, you need any?
Okay, so weapon reinforcement. Can I upgrade my help? I can upgrade the halberd. Okay, I guess I don't need to farm for souls. Fantastic. One Titanite Shard equals 1 level. We now have a halberd plus 1.
Don't Don't get yourself killed. Neither of us want to see you go hollow.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that either. Alright. So now we're going to be doing much more damage with this halberd, which is fantastic. And now I'm going to continue forward. I'm going to need to make some progress on the Undead Parish real quick before I hit the boss fight, which will be a lot easier. However, you never want to get a little too confident in this game. As good as you think you get, there's always going to be something that will just pull the rug right out from under you. Yeah, missed the backstab again. That doesn't really matter. I can still parry! And our damage number is looking pretty fantastic, too. Funny thing, these guys can actually drop Titanite shards. But the drop chance is pretty low. So it's not like something you could really rely upon. Alright. This guy can be tricky, because he's got a shield. But he failed to use it, so... Oh, look, he dropped the Titanite shard. Oh, nice. Alright. This guy's gonna be a problem, because he shoots magic. He also does something else, too. You noticed when he came in, he was glowing? Yeah, he just buffed all the enemies in the area. Which wouldn't be too big of a deal, except, well... Yeah, now... Oh, okay, no. I chose a really bad... I chose a really bad way to approach that. Good news is I can still one-shot these guys, so that's good. Alright, this is the less than stellar position to be in. Okay. Alright, that guy's dead. And the good news is he's one of those enemies that doesn't respawn, so he's dead for good. However, there's a lot of hollows. Good thing there's a settle to being poked. Okay. That wasn't nearly as clean as it could have been, but at least it survived. Large soul of an aimless soldier. How neat is that? I don't even know where that guy came from. He just popped out of nowhere. And now he's dead. What up, big boy? Not quite. Yep. Unfortunately, I got too much reach. He tried jumping away, but I can still reach him because that's the cool part about the halberd, is how far I can reach. Alright, let's see what's in here. Well, hello.
Oh, still human, are you?
Last
Then
I checked.
I am in luck. Could you help me? As you can see, I am stuck without recourse.
Yep, you definitely seem like you're locked up and locked up.
Please, I have duties to fulfill, and I will reward you handsomely. Well, I am certain you stand to benefit.
Okay, well, I suppose, why not? I guess that's what IQ was for.
Thank you. Yes, sincerely. I am Knight Lautrec of Karim. I truly
Nice to meet you.
appreciate this, and I guarantee a reward. Only later.
Okay, well, take it easy, man. Try not to get locked up again. He seemed nice enough. Okay, and that was pretty much the only real thing, major thing I needed to get taken care of. Now, do I dare? You know what? I think I do. I got 7 Estus. I got a +1 halberd. I think I can take on the boss. Will this be arrogance? Or is my confidence correctly placed? Let's find out. We just need to ascend upward. So, fun fact. Up here, were I in human form, then the summon sign for Solaire and that guy I just freed would be down here. I could take both of them into this boss fight. But I'm not doing that. So. Let's see. Try tail. Okay. Good to know. Well, let's go. This is going to be an interesting trend of this game where the boss fights don't necessarily trigger right away. So, since I'm here, let's give myself some lightning power. And let's go. This particular part of the game was kind of a big deal for me in my initial playthrough. Oh, look at that. The statue just comes alive. That's not concerning at all. Maybe it's friendly. Yeah, no, of course not. Alright. Let's try to not die. Alright, some decent damage. Can I get the tail? Oh darn. That could have been a disaster. Alright, this is less than ideal. I need to get out of this corner here. Okay. Can I hit him? Alright, there we go. That's one down. Alright, now I just got this guy. Look at this guy here. And I just ran out of lightning buff. That's okay. Hold still. Oh darn. I try not to dodge off the edge here. This guy sure likes his fire breath. And he's dead. All right. Twin humanities. How you like them apples? And we got 10,000 souls. How neat is that? And I only got hit like once, I think. So fun fact, this is I would consider this particular boss fight to be like a major turning point in the game for me. I'd spent several hours just in this area alone, struggling with different enemies and how to get past certain points, and then of course I got to this particular part of the game. I was getting used to the mechanics and the various different, like how to move, how to fight, and all that sort of thing. I was struggling because my dodge timing was really bad. And so I was having a really hard time with this boss in particular. And then I realized something. I had a shield, and I could block. And something clicked. And then I actually started getting better at the game. I was paying attention to the moveset, figuring out when's a good time to block, when's a good time to dodge. And before I knew it, I figured it out. I beat him. Beat that boss. And it was awesome. That was, I think I consider that the moment where I realized I can do it. I can actually get good at this game. So, major memory there, major moment ingrained in my memory ever since. But that said, that's the first boss, first bell here. Let's pull the lever and let this cutscene play. And And that is what I call progress. Alright, we're going to slide down here. I'm going to say hi to somebody. Well, there's 2 ladders to slide down here. Get this knocked out. I'm going to slide down here and say hello to... Don't just stand there, dude.
Greetings. I am Oswald of Careed, the pardon. Thou art a friend. For thee, a warm welcome. Cometh thou to confess, or to accuse? For indeed all sin is my domain.
So this is Oswald. He's essentially exists to introduce a new mechanic called the sin mechanic. Basically, you can accumulate bad deeds, which mostly just boils down to you killed certain NPCs who didn't deserve to die, and that kind of exists as like a stain upon you, and it has minimal effects. It mainly just affects certain interactions and certain things. Like I think it might affect your covenants, some certain covenants, depending on what decisions you made. However, he exists so that if you want to absolve yourself of said sins, you can just talk to him. You gotta pay him quite a bit of money to do so, but there you go. I hardly ever use this guy. In fact, I basically never use Oswald's everything. Like, he does sell some stuff, which would be pretty neat, but I don't really have much use of them at the moment. So, like, he's got Blood Bite and Poison Bite, which reduce buildable bleed and poison. So that's neat. And Rig and Sacrifice could be useful at a later stage in the game, but I don't really need any of these at the moment. So, the main reason I like this guy is for what I would describe as top tier voice acting right here.
Thou art welcome any time. It is only human to commit a sin.
Don't ask me why. I just love that. I just love that line delivery. But that's that. And you know what's also neat about Dark Souls that was never included in Demon Souls? With all those run bags I had to deal with? Well, now we have Homeward Bones. Return to the last bonfire you rested at. Woo! No more of that just running for ages just to get back home. Mind you, it is limited items, so I better use it sparingly. Alright, we're back.
Well, hello again. You seem to be doing all right.
I'm trying my best.
Been forged.
Let's see. I think we got another Titanite shard. I think we can. Yes, we can. Our halberd is now +2. Unfortunately, that means we now need at least 2 more Titanite shards to level up again. Which I could totally just just buy it from Andre, but
Don't get yourself neither of it.
I think I'm fine for now. I'm sorry for just burping just now. That was unintentional. Big gate closed. I'll worry about upgrading my gear for later. I'm going to boost vitality, and I think I'll put the rest into endurance. That way, I'll be able to carry heavier loads and have more and swing more. There you go. Now, the next stage of this, obviously, is I need to get to Blighttown. However, getting there is not nearly going to be as straightforward as the path I just took. It could be a lot more straightforward if I had the master key, but since I don't, I'm gonna have to do the much more tricky route. Before I do that, however, I'm gonna make a quick return trip back to Firelink. Look at that damage increase. We're doing quite a bit. Yep. Doesn't stand a chance. Alright. So we're going to head back to Firelink real quick and chat up some people and then get a game plan together. There is another side route I could go down that I'm definitely going to want to go down here soon, but right now I don't really need to at the moment. So I'm just going to go down here. So, say hi to pictures real quick.
Oh, hello. My companions are Milady and her young knights. She is young, but burdened by an undead mission. We are her defenses, to keep her from harm.
Undead mission. Do I have...
Come again. The effectiveness...
Alright, so I almost forgot about the significance of this little interaction here, so I'm going to make sure I have the souls for it. It's one of the only times you'll ever actually have to pay people for dialogue options.
Oh, hello. Miracles? An undead mission? Regrettably, I cannot share that with you. But you are my pupil. Perhaps if you show your faith.
I see you're one of those, holy men.
Very well. I can surely tell you, of all people, undead clerics are given a mission to seek kindling. Kindling is the art of feeding bonfires with humanity. Through kindling, we shall one day be granted magnificent powers.
Okay then.
Come again. The effectiveness...
So essentially what he was describing was the means by which we are able to increase the effectiveness of bonfires when we reset them. Which basically that's... Kindling a bonfire literally just means you get more Estus flasks. Like, standard bonfires only give you 5 Estus flasks back. However, if you were to kindle a bonfire, it would give you the extra 5. A bonfire that has a firekeeper is essentially automatically kindled. However, the kindling can actually go further than that. However, but that's not quite... We can't quite do that at the moment. Right now, we can only kindle a bonfire once. This one is already considered kindled, so I can't kindle it again. So that will be down the road. But that his mission is essentially what his mission is seeking to do, is get access to that power.
Why, what a surprise. I didn't expect you to make it. Oh,
of course you didn't.
Somebody rang the bell. Wait, was it you? You never give up, do you? I don't know how you do it.
I'm a Souls player.
Don't stop now. Only one more. But it's going to be suicide.
I double burst.
Don't you ever think to forge your weapons?
Yes.
You'd better find a smith box soon.
Hey, don't call Andrew that.
I enjoy swinging about with blunt instruments. What's wrong? Get a bit of a scare out there?
It has been a bit tricky, but you know.
Have a seat and get comfortable. We'll both be hollow before you know it.
How comfy is that? You're sitting on a moss-covered rock, it looks like. What's with you and uncomfortable seats? And here you are! Eminent miscreant. That's concerning.
Ah, hello there.
What's up?
I have your reward. Please, accept it.
Don't mind if I do. Oh, like a sunlight medal.
I am grateful to you for freeing me. Not enough for you? Well, let's not be greedy now.
I didn't even say anything. Why are you chuckling like that? Still nothing? Yep. She's a quiet sort. I think her name's Anastasia. So, I think this is a good spot to call the live stream. I'm still a working man, so I got the job to do later down the road, and I've made quite a bit of progress. Effectively completed the opening section. If by the time you've completed the Bell Gargoyles, I would say you're pretty solid. You've got a pretty solid grasp of this game. the rest of it will just be challenge after challenge that you can more or less conquer through determination and such. But that was our first introduction. We got things together. Our build is far from complete, but we are making progress along the way. We're going to be using this halberd for a good while. It will not be the weapon we take all the way into the end game, but it will carry us pretty far along the way. And it is a journey that I look forward to taking. And I hope you look forward to taking it as well. With that, I'm going to just say thank you for anybody who jumps in and watches this video down the road. I hope you continue. Hope you get more attention down the road and more people watching these videos. And just hope people enjoy themselves. Hope you take care of yourselves. Hope everyone has a fantastic day. With all that, I bid all of you adieu. God bless.